What's going on YouTube? Yep, I am back again with more challenges on functional programming. So without the further ado, let's get started on the exciting part, which is, yes, you guessed it, coding. Right, so this one's about implement map on a prototype. You must be thinking, why would we implement a map, the world map, on a prototype? Well, in that case, let me tell you that the map in this case is the JavaScript built-in method, which returns an array on the with the results of the function that was called. Alright, which means a callback function. Okay, so as you have seen from applying map method or simply map earlier, the map method returns an array of the same length as the one it was called on. It doesn't alter the original array as long as its callback function doesn't. In other words, map is a pure function, and its output depends solely on its inputs. Plus, it takes another function as its argument. It would teach us a lot about map to try to implement a version of it that behaves exactly like map with a for loop or for each. Alright, so note a pill function is allowed to alter is allowed to alter local variables defined within its scope, although it's preferable to avoid that as well. So now it says that write your own mymap function, which is this one here, which should behave exactly like map. You may use for loop or for each method. Cool. Right, guys, so what essentially we need to do is return a copy of this array, multiplying each index by 2. Alright, and this is what our result of new underscore s should be 46. So that's 23 times 2, 65 times 2, 130, 98 times 2, 196, and 5 times 2 is 10. Alright, so we already have a my map function in which is calling this function here. Alright, it's calling this function over here, so it's called a callback because when a function is called in a function, it's called a callback. Alright, and then it's given us a new array as well. So now what we need to do is it says that I can use either for loop or a for each method. I'm gonna use a for loop because it's, according to me, it's easier. Alright, so for, and then I will let I is equal to 0, I is less than this dot length and I plus plus. Alright, now this over here refers to this as global array, alright, which is a global variable for us. Alright, so once I've done that, why does it say cannot read the property f of undefined? Alright, it will, because I haven't inserted the curly brackets for the for loop. Alright, now what we want to do is call this function, okay, and then we, for each of the indexes of s, which is this, in our in our context, oops, my bad, in our context here, like I said, that this refers to the s global variable. So we want to be able to call this statement on the indexes of this variable. I mean this keyword which refers to the global variable s. Alright, I really hope you understand this concept. So I would do how I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna call this function in this function here. In this function here by using a callback. Alright, and then I'm going to say the item which is this in, and I'll just bring this a little bit downwards so you guys can clearly see it. So item here refers to our context, which is this, which is the s global variable. Alright, so I would do s, and then I would be needing the value of each index, and that we can access by, yes, you got it right, the in bracket notation. Alright, since we have got that, we're gonna close the brackets. Oops. Alright, and then we're going to push the results. So this callback will execute this line on the s global variable. Alright, so whatever the result I would get from this line, I would want to push it to this new array. So new array dot push, and then put that into round brackets as well, and there we go. And at the end, I would want to return the new array, which should give me this value. The new array, which is this. Alright, let's have a look if it does. Let's see, console.log new array. Does it? Yes, it does. Perfect. So 46, 46, 130, 130, 196, 196, and 10. Brilliant. And here it says your code should not use the map method, which is not. Cool. So that one's done. I really hope you understood this concept, guys, because these are really important if you want to get into the web development. Alright, so run the test, and yes, it passes by the power of a Grisco. Oh yeah, let's continue to the next one. Oops. Right, so now it says use the filter method to extract data from an array. Another useful array function is a filter method. Yep, or simply a filter. Alright, so array.prototype.filter or simply filter. The filter method returns a new array which is at most as long as the original array but usually has fewer items. Yeah, because it's filtering it. Alright, so filtering it based on a certain condition that you as a developer would specify it. Alright, so filter doesn't alter the original array just like map. It takes a callback function that applies the logic inside the callback on each element of the array. If an element returns true based on the criteria in the callback function, then it's included in the new array. That makes sense. So the variable watch list holds an array of objects, which is this one, with information on several movies. Use a combination of filter and map to return the new array of objects with only a title and rating keys, but where IMDb rating is greater than or equal to 8.0. Note that the rating values are saved as strings in the object, that you may want to convert them into numbers to perform mathematical operations on them. Right, cool. Right, so what we need to do in this challenge is we need to filter all the ratings, all the movies from this watch list array whose ratings, which is this one, IMDb rating is greater than or equal to 8.0. Okay, like it says it over here. Where did I say it? Where did it say it? Yep, so greater than or equal to 8.0, and we need to use the filter and map method. Alright, so how do we do this? Really interesting problem. Okay, so it's already given us this filtered list. So what we're gonna do is we're going to we're going to apply the filter method on this array here. Okay, and I'm gonna use ES6 syntax because it's really short and concise. Alright, so I'm gonna do the array that I want to be able to work with, and then I'm gonna apply the filter method on it. Alright, see, filter method, and then if you guys remember from ECMAScript 6, which is the ES6, we don't type in the keyword function. We omit that and straight away go to the parameter. So in this case, our parameter will be each object in this array. Okay, so all these are going to be our elements. So element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, and yep. Alright, cool. So I'm gonna say that's my parameter element, or I would type in the full version of it, and then I'm gonna use the arrow function, and then I am going to convert all these ratings here, and all the ratings of them to a number. Alright, so I'm going to cast it, which means convert it as well. Alright, so I will say each element, I need each element IMDb rating to be converted to a number. Okay, and I need, so this part is converting it to a number, so what I need is all the ratings, I mean all the elements whose ratings is 8 and above, so 8.0. Alright, so this part alone gives me the filtered elements, alright, in this array. Okay, cool. So now straight away I'm gonna put a dot and apply the map method of it as well. So basically, if you remember from the previous previous challenges, map is essentially calls a callback calls another function, and I mean, I think I'm making myself confused now. So what map does is essentially it returns a new array based on the result of the callback function. So the callback function of this would be I would again do that as a ES6 arrow syntax. So I'll pass in the element again. So now we need to map all these elements that we have got from the filter method into a new array. Alright, so because map already returns the result into the new array, we don't really have to worry about that part at all. So what I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna just basically add all the results of this part here into a new array. So here I'm getting all these elements, alright, and then I'm gonna be using the arrow function again and give it what I exactly wanna do. Alright, so I want to take all the titles, which is, so it says that return a new array of objects with only title and ratings. Okay, so this let me just drag this on the left so you guys can see it properly. Alright, so these curly braces represents, as you already know, an object. So what I want in every single object is the title. So I will do element dot title. Hang on. We need to match these keys of the array exactly as they are. So title is there. Here we go. And title, and then we have got another attribute, I mean the property to include, which is rating. So we will do element dot rating. Oops, no, my bad. I would rather copy the properties here copy the properties from here so that I don't do so that I don't make a spelling mistake. Alright, now that one's done, and we need to add another bracket to close that function and a semicolon here. I think that's pretty much it from the looks of the requirements, because we are filtering it over here based on this criteria, and then we are mapping it to a new array, or we are mapping every element which we got from this filter method to a new array, which is over here. So I'll just explain to you guys, but first let's see if this passed or not. I'm really curious. Alright, nope, we didn't pass it. Where did we mess up? IMDb, yep, that's right. How about if I remove the equals sign and then try it? No, still the same. Interesting. If I do 8, no. Okay, so it's failing on 8.8. Filter list should equal and 90 and 8.3. So I'm pretty sure that's alright. Where do we mess up here? Elements. I think it might be the space issue. Nope, it wasn't the space issue. We need to find out where did we go wrong. Filter list, yep, I'm filtering it. I've applied the filtered method here. So that was all being done. It should. Oh, so I think we had to apply the filter method. I mean the filter, assign this entire task to the filter list. I think that might have been the issue. Yes, that was the issue, probably. Let's check if we pass this method or not. I mean, yes, perfect. Far out. Alright, cool. So I just explained you the entire code in order to ensure that you have a proper grasp of it. Alright. So first of all, this problem had two parts. First, we had to filter the movies, or so filter the list based on the ratings. So whichever list, whichever movie is, whichever movie's ratings is greater than or equal to 8, we need to filter that. Okay, so this is our criteria for filter, in which we are applying a filter method on the watch list, and then for every element we are we are checking who's we are converting the rating of each element to a number first, and then checking if it's greater and equal to, if it's greater or equal to 8.0. If it is, then we are filtering it. So this is our filtering criteria. That's each object, and this is where exactly are we filtering. All right, and then as soon as we get the result of the from the filter method, as in all the movies, or you want to say titles that are greater than or equal to 8, we are mapping them into a new array. I mean, uh, we are making a new array and pushing those titles in there. So how am I doing that? I pass the element uh, as a parameter. So this element is each movie. All right, as you can tell from here. So each element which I've got from the filter method, I have created a new array or an object. Yeah, I'll call it an array. So I'm basically um, giving the, I mean, I'm inserting the filter results, which is this element, into the new array, but I'm not doing the entire properties, as in votes, ID, type, response. I'm not doing any of those, as it says in the requirements that I need to just return a new array of or objects with only title and string keys. So these are my that's my title and that's my rating. Okay, so I am returning a new array with these objects, but just with these additional properties. All right, and then I've assigned the entire method, I mean the entire procedure to the list, which was declared here, and then I've assigned it to that filtered list. I really hope you understand it, guys. All right, so run the test and boom. Let me just save my code as well. Oops. All right, cool. So this is done. Let's move on to the next one. This is getting exciting day by day, minute by minute, second by second. I'm so proud of you guys. You're doing really well until now. All right. So this one's about implement the filter method on a prototype. Okay. So now we are implementing a filter method into a prototype. It will teach us a lot about the filter method if we tried to implement a version of it that behaves exactly like array.prototype.filter. It can either use a for loop or an array.prototype.forEach. Right. So note, a pure function is allowed to alter local variables defined within its scope, although it's preferable not to avoid that as well. So now it says that write your own my filter, which should behave exactly like filter. You may use for loop or the array prototype for each method. Cool. So what we need to do is we need to implement this my filter method so it behaves exactly like the array's built-in filter method. All right, and we can either use for or for each loop. All right. So I'm in this challenge I'm gonna be using for loop. So let's get down to it straight away. So let I is equal to 0, I is less than this dot length, and with this is the global variable s. Okay, and I plus plus increment it every time, and then first of all I'm gonna be checking if um if each element each value of the index is divisible by 2 or not. Alright, if it's not, only then I'm gonna be returning it into a new array. So how am I gonna do that? By the if statement. So if, and it's also given us this function here, which is being called in this function as a parameter, as which is called formally a callback. So I will be calling this function via a callback. So callback, and then I'm gonna be passing this keyword to denote that I'm talking about this item, and this again refers to s if you didn't know. Okay, so I'm going to be calling the function on each of these items here. How? By putting the value for index via bracket notation. Okay, and then I'm going to be checking if this condition, so essentially this callback is checking this value against this this statement. All right, so I'm gonna check if it returns true. So if what this is doing, I mean this whole line is doing is calling this function on this array. Okay, so and checking if this statement equals true or not. If it does, what do we want to do? Yes, you got it right. We want to push that number to the new array. Brilliant. You learned it already. See, that wasn't that hard, was it? Alright, so that's all. So again, I'll just explain it. So I'm using a for loop here to filter out the even numbers in, I mean the odd numbers in this array. So my output should be 23, 65, and 5. And how am I doing that? By applying a for loop, and this refers to this global variable here, which is s. So I'm going through each index and applying this function, and this function on each index. Okay, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and checking in this statement if uh 23, which is index 1 here, the value of index 0, yeah, the 0th index, uh, equals to true, on this statement. So if 23 is gets a remainder of 1 when it's divided by 2, which it does, because 11 times 2 is 22, and then 1 is a remainder to make it 23. So because this turns into true, I push 23 in the new array. Similarly, I go to the next index here by incrementing it by 1, and then check if 65 is an odd number by coming into this function here again. It is. This statement turns true, and then I push this 65 value from here in the new array. And however, when I increment the index by 1 again, 98, when the 98 is an even number, so it is divisible by 2, and I don't get any remainder if I divide 98 by 2. So this statement turns false, and it won't push 98 in the new array, so it won't come here. And then I increment the index by 1 again, and then it comes into 5. Yes, it's an odd number. This statement turns true, and the 5 is pushed in new array again. And then the indexes have been finished, and I'm returning the new array at the end, which is here. So if you see the console, it gives you the exact array which you are wanting. Should be right. Oops, my bad. Alright. No, why is it not pausing now? What did I do? Sorry guys, I forgot to close this parameter bracket and this one as well. But yes, the entire concept is exactly the same, but I just had to close the parameter here because this is a parameter and I was giving it the whole parameter, which obviously won't be valid according to this parameter, which has been already being passed in this function here. So I forgot to add a round bracket there. That's my fault. I do apologize for that. Alright, that will pass the test. There we go. We live dangerously. Yes. Okay, I really hope you learned a lot from this video. I know that it's a lot to absorb and your brain must be numb. So what I would suggest is keep watching this tutorial. If you don't understand my explanation, keep rewinding it again and again to understand the entire concept, and if you still don't, then please leave a comment on my video and I'll make sure I'll come back to you. Alright, have fun coding until then, and go practice. Remember, practice makes perfect. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.